Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another NIKKE video, and welcome new players and returning players to the NIKKE franchise. You're probably here because of 2B. Yes, there's a near collaboration going on. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at this asset. So good. And not only are we getting 2B, we also have A2 as well. So I know why you clicked on this video. This is going to be a guide for all of you guys to readjust yourself to NIKKE, because I think all of the guides are now pretty outdated. We did have a lot of quality of life improvements, and that's what we're hoping to cover. This guide is going to be quite long, probably 30 to 40 minutes in length, if not more. So use the timestamp to basically go wherever you want, and it will start from the very basics into endgame guides. So first of all, again, welcome. You probably are wondering, and the most commonly asked question is, can I secure 2B and later A2 in the gacha system if I started today? And the answer is most likely yes. So I'll talk about how the gacha system works. For all of the event banners, the pool is sitting at 4% SSR, which is really high if you compare to other games. And the rate up unit in this case is 2%, so which means you have a 50-50 chance, kind of, every time you pull an SSR for it to be the rate up unit. It goes down to 1% out of the 4% when it's a pilgrim banner. You can think of the pilgrim banner units as more of a light, kind of a darkness, super rare unit, and they're really good. So we save our golden tickets for that. And what do you mean by golden tickets? Well, this is the currency you get every time you do a pull, right? And this is the pity system. So essentially, after you've done a pull, you get golden tickets, and it's really good. Honestly, this system is fantastic because it not only allows you to exchange for the current banner up unit, it also allows you to exchange for future units without pulling anything, as long as you have a reserve. For example, here I pulled all the way in for 2B for core 7, which is 11 copies, and I have a lot of tickets saved, so when a pilgrim, which is a lesser 1% unit, comes, I can just use tickets to exchange quote-unquote pities instead of using the normal standard tickets at a lower rate banner. So this is really good, because for a lot of people who are collectors or waifu collectors, they essentially just try their luck, right? 4% is actually a lot. They dump 10-20 pulls just to try to fish for the on banner unit, and even if they miss, they have those currencies slowly building up for them to use later on. So for you as a new player or returning player starting out, if you haven't progressed much in the story, you're gonna have a lot of resources for you to, most likely, unless your luck is really bad, to get A2 as well as 2B first, of course. And if you fail one of them, you can use the exchange ticket. We have a month going on, and failing that, then as long as you play every day, you'll come very close. So maybe potentially a mission pass will sort it out for you. All right, so that's the gacha system. It's quite friendly, and a lot of free-to-play players will tell you that as well. In terms of the progression, so this right now, I've beaten all of the main. I don't have any main missions left because I've beaten it, and the challenge I still have a bit. But new players, all you want to do is basically two things: follow the missions. The main missions, go follow what they suggest you to do. You will not get stuck for quite a long time. And there's also a day by day. So this is a really good milestone for you to see where you are. And it goes all the way up to day 14. So once you reach day 14, and if you complete all of these on day 14, you essentially become aware of all the different systems and what you need to do in NIKKE on a daily basis. So that's quite important. And if you get stuck, fret not, there are other game modes available. Okay, if you look at the Lost Sectors, Tribe Towers, Arena, Simulation, Interest, they all give you resources. So if you're stuck in the main story, you definitely want to try out other game modes as well. As, for example, if you're in a tower, and they change tower opening times every day. If you're in the tower and you fight these units, you'll get gold, you get gems, you get all of these core dust as well. So it's definitely something you can take a look at if you're getting stuck in the main story. And partly, if you're also stuck elsewhere, make sure you're upgrading your units. So right now, there's a new quality of life improvement That's changed. Previously, all units with base copy can only go up to level 80, and what we had to do was upgrade the SRs, put them in the sync device. You no longer have to do that. Now, all of the SSRs, if you get a base copy, they all go to 160, right? They all go to level 160, which essentially saves you 2 dupe copies, because it goes 120, 160, and 200. But now, even at the base copy, SSRs go to 160, so you don't need to upgrade your SR units at all if you don't need to. This is really good, because we used to have to upgrade, see, the SRs with their dupes, because they're easier to come by, to 160, and then reset them. We had to reset them, which cost a bit of gem, but it was the only way to get further. And level your units evenly, okay? You want them to have even power. Previously, when I first started, I made my hyper carry a lot stronger than the rest, but if you're progressing, you're just starting out, make sure that your units are leveled evenly, okay? And after you are done and you're stuck with all the different game modes, check out the events. We have ongoing events pretty much all the time. There's only maybe half a day of downtime most of the time. So if you are going to be stuck, do check out the events. They have lots of goodies, and the event difficulties are not that hard anymore. So not only do you get a ton of upgrade mats that you can use, you also have a shop access, and start getting these as soon as possible. They'll allow you to upgrade your skills, upgrade your unit levels, upgrade the recycling room, which further boosts the stats, and most importantly, give you currencies so you can pull more units. So all of that is super important. Now, your first biggest road stop that you probably will be stopping for weeks, if not months, is what we call the 160 wall. And it alludes to what I was saying before, right? All of the SSRs, you can get it to level 160, but we need to get that wall, the 160 wall, get rid of that. So how do we do that? Essentially, you have to upgrade your SSR and limit break them to MLB3, max limit break 3. That's the common term. So you need a base copy, okay, and then you need 3 copies, so 4 copies total to do that. So you can see here, I am upgrading this, and now she can go to level 200. So once she is at level 200, not only do you unlock a very nice live wallpaper that you can look at your home screen, you also can now go above and beyond 160. And once you have 5 units that are level 200, you can put it in the sync device. So you just need 5 units that are you have 4 copies of, and you can put it in the sync device. So this is once you break the 160 wall, and the sync device allows you to go past 200. The max level of the synchro level is based on your units and their max limit break, so yours are probably 400 or 300 or lower than that, so you're not going to have that. So what you want to do is reach 160, break through the wall by having 5 units. It'll automatically pick 5 units that have 3 copies that you have, that's reached level 200, and then put them in the sync, and you can now upgrade beyond level 200. This part is never ending. I think it will be at least a year or two once until we reach the end game for the synchro device, unless you are a mega whale, because all in all, the basis of NIKKE is still idle game. All right, it's an idle game, so it's kind of like those AFK arena, whatever, if you've played these in the past. And one thing, since we're talking about the 160 wall, how to break it easily is you really have to plan your resources. So example, if you have a unit that you want to pull, look at your resources. Can you really go deep and pull for 4 copies? Because unless you're a wife collector and just want 1 copy of all the sexy ladies, okay, you just want to pull on meta units or waifu units and go for 4 copies if you can. As free-to-play players, it's a bit more tough because you really have to plan out your pulls. And one thing you will rely on is the friendship social recruitment. This has a 2% SSR chance, which is quite high compared to some of the other gacha games out there. And 2% SSR chance allows you to, again, pull random SSRs that will increase your chance of breaking that 160 wall. Remember, because we need 4 copies per unit. And every day, you send and receive social points to your friends, and I think basically every day you can get 30 points, so it requires 100 to pull for a 10 pull, so 3 and a bit more, you will be able to break enough to pull for a 10 pull. Now next is the ordinary recruitment. So you get these blue tickets from events, from the devs, from maintenance extensions and all that. And this, after a certain amount of pulls, you will be able to revise the wish list. So this is essentially making sure that your pool is not infinitely diluted in the the standard banner, because as we get more Nikkes, they will be added to the standard pool. And if we didn't set up a wish list, you can get a ton of different Nikkes. And that doesn't help in your quest to break the max limit break, right? Because 4 copies of 1 unit. So as a free-to-play player, you need to constantly adjust your wish list, even though they might not be meta. So for example, if you have 1 copy of these 3 units, you definitely want to put it there. And then for the 2 other units, you can technically put something that's meta, but you don't have a copy of. So you need to revisit this wish list pretty much every time you pull, because if all of a sudden this unit you pull 2 copies and it's MLB 1, you want to then put that unit on the list, because 2 more copies will give you that level 200 that you can break the 160 wall with. All right. So all this time you're stuck, you're trying to break the 160 wall. What can you do in between? Well, you can actually make your Nikkei stronger, because you can keep farming for resources. You can keep getting all of these important things that once you break the 160 wall, you just skyrocket to like 180 or 190. It's the most satisfying feeling. So definitely keep playing and keep upgrading. But most people in the campaign, all right, at 160 wall, their biggest milestone is try to clear chapter 16. So if we go into I guess the hard mode, but if you go to your normal mode and you select a chapter, one of the most important chapters to clear is, let's try to click on this, is normal chapter 16. Because chapter 16, if you beat it, allows you to enter special interception. Special interception is where you can farm end game gear, and even if you're at level 160, so this is chapter 16, all right, even if you're at level 160, you can clear some of the bosses in special interception. You basically go into the arc, and like I've said, various different game modes. If you go into the special interception, here you can see it's a daily rotating boss. There are 5 bosses and you get a new one every single day. When you're first starting out, you definitely will be trying Train and then Gravedigger, and trust me, those will be very easy when you first start out, and you'll come to hate these 2, because those 2 are often what people have difficulty with. The other 3 rotating bosses are okay. You'll just focus on taking 1 down at a time. You can look online. There are lots of different teams you can use to clear now, because our roster has expanded. So that's what you need to work towards as you are sitting at the 160 wall. Breaking that interception clears slowly but surely. Okay, and we also had an upgrade to the simulation system. Remember, for those returning players, simulation system took 20 minutes per day. Now it takes 2 minutes per day. It's really, really fast. You can skip all of the fights and all of the interactions until the last boss, and you auto the last boss, and it's super, super fast. Okay, so make sure you're checking out all the different game modes in Arc, because those are very, very important resources wise. Now, speaking of upgrades, we've talked about the gear. It might be early for you to think about, but you can see why are some of these gears red. It's because they are called overload gears. So if you take a look at units that don't have overload gear, you have units that has green and purple gear. You'll see green and purple here. But there are orange, which has higher stats, but also orange with a specific purple icon. So these, you want them to match the faction of the unit, because you can see here I am Elysion, so I want to have Elysion gear on this unit, because once I upgrade it to level 5, which is the max level of a gear, then you can use something called the rock to make it into overload gear. And overload gear gives you sub lines that you can use that further increases the capability of your unit, and also to give you better stats. But this is a lot more end game. That hasn't changed. You can check out my previous guide, and it's very, very important. Once overload gear kicks in, it makes some units like Modernia just infinitely better. Okay, and speaking of units like Modernia, make sure you're upgrading their skills. Now, most units, they have guides online with regards to skill point recommendations, so you can check either Pridewin or Nikke.gg. They have skill point recommendations on what to focus, but skill points definitely do matter, and you will be very short on them if you're just starting out, so make sure you're upgrading properly. And last but not least, the cube system is also very important. The two main cubes you need to worry about as a beginner are going to be Bastion Cube and Resilience Cube, and you get the resources for that by participating in Guild or Union Raid, which is when you join a union, you'll be fighting against bosses together, so make sure you join one. And the other is going to be via solo raids. It can give you some currencies there as well. So now that you're aware of all the different ways to upgrade your unit, you finally break the 160 wall. Congratulations, and you are working towards your way into level 200. So what is the end game? We talked about it. We have Union Raid, we have Solo Raid, which is not here, and then we have Co-op. I think Co-op is bugged at the moment, but those are things that have leaderboards, and with leaderboards comes competition, right? So if you're just starting out, if you're returning, don't worry about it too much. Just have fun and try to reach the highest level and just get all of the resources to make your Nikke stronger. But they're co-op, and you can team up with your friends, team up with the union raids, union players, and have a good old time. Right, so that's very important. And get those broken cores, because in the recycling shop you will be able to buy again more resources. Okay, and since we're in the shop, you can take a look at every day there will be free things you can buy, so this costs nothing. You can buy that, and don't touch this for now. Once you're in a union, because you have to join the union to redeem, ask the people in your union, they will know what to get. All right, and the body shop labels, I usually just get the thing that's on discount and just slowly build towards whatever I need. As a new player, you want to open the high quality modes, so this currency you get, all right, this DNA currency you get by pulling dupes of units. So you can use that when you pull a lot of Rs or SR units, and you want to exchange them, because once you exchange them, then you open these modes, it has a chance, 60% chance of getting SSRs, which again, having those SSRs will help you break the 160 wall. And you need to adjust your wish list accordingly after you open those modes. Arena shop, don't worry about arena too much in the beginning, but you should be in a bracket of your own, because now the shuffle is going to be based on account creation date, so it should be very easy if you are actually playing the game. And then mileage shop, there's two. We talked about the golden ones for the radar banner. The black ones are very important in helping you break the 160 wall, but these units, they're set. Okay, only a certain set of units will rotate. Other units like the pilgrim ones, except Noah, will not rotate in here, so make sure you check online what rotation the shop will have for the mileage shop, and then you know, you can exchange some of these tickets to break the 160 wall as well. And lastly, co-op shop, just do the co-op and exchange for them. All right, finally, last but not least, spending. All right, if you are a spender, let's just go with the minimum spenders. If you're a minimum small spender, this is the best for value. $4.99, 30-day supply, 3,000 gems, plus 330 card gems. Basically, this is one multi for $4.99. This is going to be really high value in terms of what it offers you in comparison to everything else. If you want to step this up, this is really good too. $14.99. This box is fantastic because you can choose, and all of these resources are very important, so not a bad one as well. With the rest, they actually added daily free gem packs, so now every day, every week, and every month you have some free daily gem packs you get. And lastly, if you're wanting to catch up, okay, core dust is something you want to look into, because you will be really short on core dust as you are trying to catch up to the players that started, for example, day 0. So if you don't want to think about it too much, just get the monthly core dust pack. It's not bad at all. Otherwise, personally, I get the weekly and then daily, but I always forget. But again, you can play this completely fine. It's kind of casual, so you don't have to. And yes, as chat kindly reminded me, because I can't see it anymore, but there are 2 chapter completion packs, one for campaign easy mode and the other one I do forget, but those are really good value. Mine's not here anymore because I bought them, but you should be able to see the pack beside the 30-day, like somewhere here. or between this and this, but the campaign pack is very cheap and very, very good in value. The other ones, I honestly would not think about it if you're free to play or small spender. It's just not really worth, unless there's a unit that comes you really, really like and need the pulls, then you can potentially think about that. But wow, this has been a 20-minute beginner's guide for returning and new players. Hopefully we covered everything. It's quite the discussion. Oh, before I forget, because I did forget already, if you are a small spender, consider the mission pass. The mission pass is really high value. It gives you SSR modes, purple modes, and pull currencies, which are really, really good. And there's sometimes a event pass as well. It's not on right now, but there will be an event pass in Nier Automata, so those are quite decent in terms of value. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts. Any other questions, leave them down below. Even if I don't answer, I'm very, very sure the helpful members of the NIKKE community will let you know their answer to your question as well. But overall, have fun, all right? Because we're all here for the assets. Most people came here for the plot, but actually stayed for the in-game plot, which is the story is top tier. The story is really good, and the game is very friendly. We're super nice when it comes to anniversaries. Our half anniversary is better than most gacha games full anniversary. So hopefully you have a good time, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.